There is a moment that most people will never experience. Not because it is rare, not because it is reserved for monks on mountaintops or mystics in caves, but because when it begins to happen, almost everyone mistakes it for something going wrong. They feel the ground beneath them start to shift. They feel the old certainties dissolve. They feel the life they carefully constructed begin to crack at the seams. And they panic. They reach for the familiar. They try to rebuild what is falling. They medicate the discomfort. They distract themselves with noise. And in doing so, they miss the single most important event that could ever occur in a human life. They miss the moment the universe recognizes that a consciousness has begun to wake up. Because here is what no one tells you. When your consciousness truly begins to awaken, the universe does not sit idle. It does not wait passively for you to figure things out. It responds. It reorganizes. It begins to move around you in ways that will seem from the outside like chaos. But from the inside, if you have the courage to stay present, you will begin to recognize it for what it actually is. Intelligence. A living, breathing, responsive intelligence that has been waiting, perhaps for your entire life, for you to reach this exact threshold. Let that land for a moment. What if everything you have been told about how life works has been an inversion of the truth? What if you are not a small self navigating a large, indifferent universe? What if you are the point of awareness through which the universe is navigating itself? And what if the moment you begin to genuinely realize this, not as a concept but as a felt experience, everything around you begins to change because it must? Because the very fabric of your reality is not separate from the consciousness observing it. This is not philosophy. This is not wishful thinking. This is what quantum physics has been pointing toward for over a century, and what ancient traditions understood long before the first equation was ever written. The observer and the observed are not two things. They are one process. And when the observer shifts, the observed has no choice but to shift with it. So what does the universe actually do when your consciousness finally awakens? That is what we are going to explore together. Not in theory, not in abstraction, but in the lived, felt, sometimes terrifying, always transformative reality of what happens when you cross that invisible line from sleeping to waking. And I want to be honest with you from the beginning. This is not comfortable territory. Awakening is not what most people think it is. It is not a permanent state of bliss. It is not floating above your problems. It is not suddenly having all the answers. It is something far more radical than that. It is the dissolution of the one who thought they needed answers in the first place. And when that dissolution begins, the universe responds with a precision and intelligence that will shake you to your core. Let us begin where most awakenings actually begin. Not in a meditation retreat, not during a spiritual experience, but in the rubble. In the place where something you thought was solid turns out to be hollow. A relationship ends, a career collapses, a belief system that held your world together suddenly cannot bear the weight of your own direct experience. Something breaks, and in that breaking, there is a crack. And through that crack, something that was always there but could never reach you begins to pour in. Light, awareness, a presence that does not belong to your mind but seems to be aware of your mind. This is the first stirring, the first signal that consciousness is beginning to disentangle itself from the story it has been living inside. Now here is what is fascinating. At the exact moment this begins to happen inside you, something begins to happen outside you as well. And this is where most people get confused, because the external changes do not look like blessings at first. They look like destruction. The things that no longer match your emerging frequency begin to fall away. Not gently, not politely. They fall away with the force of something that has been held in place too long by a version of you that no longer exists. Friends you have known for years suddenly feel like strangers. Work that once gave you purpose feels hollow and suffocating. Habits that used to comfort you become unbearable. The life you built starts to feel like a costume you cannot wear anymore. And this is not coincidence. This is the universe doing exactly what it does when consciousness shifts. It clears the field. Think of it this way. Your external reality is not separate from your internal state. It never has been. Your reality is a projection, a holographic reflection of the frequency you are holding. When that frequency was stable, even if it was based on fear, even if it was based on limitation, the reality it projected was stable too. It was consistent, predictable, familiar. But the moment your frequency begins to shift, the moment consciousness starts to wake up within you, the projection has to change. It has no choice. The old hologram cannot sustain itself when the signal generating it has fundamentally altered, so it collapses. And in that collapse, there is grief, there is confusion, there is the terrifying feeling of free fall. But there is also, if you are paying attention, a strange undercurrent of rightness, a quiet knowing beneath the chaos that says yes. This is it. This is what needed to happen. The universe is not punishing you when things fall apart during an awakening. It is liberating you. It is removing everything that was built on a foundation of unconsciousness so that something new can emerge from a foundation of truth. And this is one of the most misunderstood aspects of spiritual awakening. People think awakening means adding something, adding enlightenment, adding special powers, adding spiritual knowledge. But real awakening is subtraction. It is the removal of everything false, and the universe participates in that removal with a thoroughness that can feel ruthless. But it is not ruthless. It is precise. It is the same precision with which a sculptor removes stone to reveal the form that was always inside it. Nothing real is being destroyed. Only the excess. Only the layers that were never truly you. If this is resonating with you, if you can feel something stirring as you listen, take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe so you do not miss what comes next. Let me go deeper into this because it matters. When quantum physicists first began to explore the behavior of subatomic particles, they encountered something that shattered their understanding of reality. They found that particles do not exist in a definite state until they are observed. Before observation, a particle exists in what is called a superposition, a state of pure potential where all possibilities coexist simultaneously. It is only when a conscious observer interacts with the system that the wave of possibility collapses into a single definite outcome. This is the observer effect. And while physicists have debated its implications for decades, the spiritual implications are staggering. Because what this means, at the most fundamental level of reality, is that consciousness is not a passive witness to a pre-existing world. Consciousness is an active participant in the creation of that world. The act of observation is not neutral. It is creative. It is generative. It literally brings reality into form. Now extend this understanding to your own life. If consciousness is what collapses possibility into reality, then the state of your consciousness is directly determining the reality you experience. Not metaphorically, not as a nice idea, literally. The frequency at which you observe, the beliefs you hold, the emotional states you inhabit, the depth of awareness you bring to each moment, all of this is functioning as a kind of quantum instruction set, telling the field of infinite possibility which version of reality to materialize around you. When you are unconscious, when you are operating on autopilot, running old programs, reacting from fear, identified completely with your thoughts and emotions, you are collapsing the same limited possibilities over and over again. You are creating the same reality on repeat. Not because the universe is limited, but because your observation of it is limited. You are looking through a narrow slit and seeing a narrow world and believing that narrow world is all there is. But when consciousness begins to awaken, when you start to disidentify from the mind, when you begin to recognize that you are not your thoughts, not your emotions, not your story, but the awareness in which all of that arises, something extraordinary happens to the quantum field around you. The narrow slit widens. The range of possibilities you can collapse into reality expands dramatically. And the universe, which is not separate from you but is in fact the larger body of the same consciousness you are waking up to, begins to reorganize itself around this new, expanded observation point. This is not magic. This is physics operating at a level most people never access, because most people never shift the consciousness that is doing the observing. What we have touched on here, the observer effect, the way your frequency shapes your holographic reality, the universe clearing the field as you awaken. This is only the surface of a much deeper system. If you are feeling called to explore the complete framework, including the 9 master frequencies, the journey from survival static to conscious transmission, and step-by-step practices for living as the field itself, you will find everything laid out in my book, Beyond the Frequencies, a quantum guide to consciousness mastery. It is linked in the pinned comment below. This is where it gets interesting, because the reorganization does not just happen in abstract, invisible ways. It happens in concrete, tangible, unmistakable ways. And if you have begun this process, you will recognize what I am about to describe. The first thing the universe does when your consciousness awakens is it sends you mirrors. Not the kind you hang on a wall. Living mirrors. Situations, people, circumstances that reflect back to you with absolute precision the parts of yourself you have not yet seen, the shadow material, the unconscious patterns, the wounds you buried so deep you forgot they were there. And this is not cruelty. This is grace wearing a fierce mask, because you cannot integrate what you cannot see. You cannot heal what you refuse to acknowledge. And the universe, in its infinite intelligence, knows that the fastest path to wholeness is not to let you bypass your darkness, but to bring it directly into the light of your expanding awareness. So you might find that just as you begin to feel more awake, more present, more aligned, a situation arises that triggers you in the deepest possible way. An old wound gets activated. A pattern you thought you had transcended comes roaring back. A person enters your life who pushes every button you have, and your first instinct might be to think you are going backward, to think the awakening was an illusion, to think you are failing. But you are not going backward. You are going inward. The universe is showing you the next layer. It is saying here, this is what is ready to be seen now. This is what is ready to be felt now. This is what has been running your life from the shadows. And now that your consciousness is bright enough to look at it, I am bringing it to the surface. I want to ask you something. What is the one thing that keeps surfacing in your life right now? The pattern or the feeling you keep trying to push away? Share it in the comments, because naming it is the first step toward freeing yourself from it. This is one of the great tests of awakening. Can you stay present with what the mirror shows you? Can you resist the urge to look away, to numb, to project, to blame? Can you hold the reflection with the same awareness that is waking up within you and simply say, I see this, I feel this, I am willing to be with this? Because when you can do that, when you can meet your own shadow with presence rather than resistance, something alchemical happens. The energy that was trapped in that unconscious pattern gets liberated. It gets reclaimed. And it becomes available to you as fuel for the next stage of your evolution. The universe did not send you that mirror to break you. It sent it to free you. Every trigger is a doorway. Every wound that surfaces is a piece of your power returning home. The second thing the universe does is it begins to dismantle your false identity. And this is perhaps the most disorienting part of the entire process, because you have spent your whole life constructing a self, a personality, a story about who you are, where you came from, what you are capable of, what you deserve. This constructed self is what spiritual traditions call the ego. And I want to be clear, the ego is not your enemy. It served a purpose. It helped you navigate a world that required you to have a name, a role, a position. But the ego is also a limitation. It is a contraction of consciousness. It is the universe pretending to be small. And when consciousness begins to awaken, the ego starts to feel the threat. Because awakening is, at its core, the recognition that you are not the ego. You are the vast, unbounded awareness in which the ego appears. And the ego does not go quietly. So you might find yourself in a period where you do not know who you are anymore. The old identity feels false, but the new one has not yet crystallized. You are in the gap, the liminal space, the void between who you were and who you are becoming. And this void is terrifying to the mind. The mind needs labels. It needs categories. It needs to know where it stands. And in this void, it has nothing to hold on to. So it panics. It generates anxiety. It tells you stories about how you are lost, how you are broken, how you have made a terrible mistake. But here is what the mind cannot understand. The void is not empty. It is full. It is full of potential. It is the same superposition state that quantum physics describes, all possibilities existing simultaneously, waiting for a new, more awake version of you to collapse them into form. The universe has brought you to this void, not to destroy you, but to give you the rarest of gifts, a blank canvas, a chance to create from consciousness rather than from conditioning. Breathe into that for a moment. You are not lost. You are being found by yourself, found by the deeper intelligence that has been patiently waiting behind every mask you have ever worn. The dismantling of the false self is not destruction. It is revelation. It is the universe saying you do not need this armor anymore. You do not need this mask anymore. What you are beneath all of it is so much more vast, so much more powerful, so much more beautiful than anything the ego could ever construct. Trust the dismantling. Trust the void. Trust the intelligence that is orchestrating all of it. The third thing the universe does when consciousness awakens is it begins to synchronize. And this is where the journey starts to feel genuinely magical. Because once the clearing has begun, once the mirrors have done their work, once the false identity has started to dissolve, you enter a new relationship with reality. A relationship based not on control, but on coherence. And in this state of coherence, the universe begins to communicate with you in a language that bypasses the rational mind entirely. The language of synchronicity. You think of someone and they call. You need information, and it appears in the most unlikely way. You make a decision from a place of deep inner knowing, and doors open that you did not even know existed. You encounter the right book, the right conversation, the right opportunity at exactly the right moment. And these are not coincidences. There are no coincidences in a conscious universe. These are evidence of field coherence. When your internal frequency aligns with a deeper truth, the external field reorganizes to match that alignment. It is the same principle as resonance in physics. When two frequencies match, energy transfers effortlessly between them. When your consciousness is coherent, when it is aligned with the deeper intelligence of the universe, information, resources, connections, and opportunities flow to you with an ease that the struggling, efforting, controlling ego could never achieve. But here is the key, and this is where many people on the awakening path get stuck. Synchronicity is not something you can manufacture. You cannot force the universe to send you signs. You cannot manipulate the field through positive thinking or visualization techniques alone. Synchronicity arises naturally and spontaneously when you are in a state of genuine alignment. And genuine alignment is not a mental state. It is not an affirmation you repeat. It is a state of being. It is what happens when the noise of the conditioned mind quiets down enough for the signal of your deeper intelligence to come through clearly. It is what happens when you stop trying to control reality and start participating with it. When you stop asking the universe to give you what your ego wants and start listening for what your consciousness is being called toward. This distinction is crucial because the ego wants things. It wants security. It wants validation. It wants comfort. It wants to be special. And there is nothing wrong with wanting. But the ego's wants are almost always based on lack, on the belief that you are incomplete and need something external to become whole. Awakened consciousness does not want in the same way. It moves. It flows. It is drawn towards certain experiences, certain creations, certain expressions, not because they will fill a hole, but because they are the natural expression of what it is. Like water flowing downhill, like a flower turning toward light. There is no effort in it. There is no grasping. There is simply movement in alignment with the deepest truth of your being. And when you are in that flow, the universe does not just support you. It conspires on your behalf. It moves mountains. It bends probability. It orchestrates meetings and openings and revelations that your rational mind could never have planned. I want to share something with you about how this works at a deeper level, because understanding the mechanism can help you trust the process when it feels uncertain. In quantum field theory, the universe is not made of solid objects separated by empty space. It is made of fields, interconnected, overlapping, vibrating fields of energy and information. Every particle is an excitation in a field. Every force is a field interaction. And consciousness, though mainstream science has not yet fully integrated this understanding, appears to be a fundamental field as well. Not something produced by the brain, not an epiphenomenon of neural activity, but a primary field, perhaps the primary field, the ground of being from which all other fields emerge. If this is true, and the evidence from quantum mechanics, from consciousness research, from the direct experience of contemplatives across every tradition suggests that it is, then your individual consciousness is not separate from the universal field. It is a localized expression of it. Like a wave is not separate from the ocean. Your awareness is the universe's awareness, focused through the lens of your particular perspective. And when that lens clarifies, when the distortions of conditioning and unconscious patterning begin to dissolve, the local expression comes into greater coherence with the universal field. And coherence in any system produces remarkable effects. In laser physics, coherent light, light in which all the waves are aligned in phase, can do things that ordinary light cannot. It can cut through steel. It can carry information across vast distances. It can create holograms. The individual photons are no more powerful than any other photons, but their alignment gives them a collective potency that is extraordinary. Your consciousness works the same way. When your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and awareness come into coherence, when they align with the deeper truth of what you are, you become like a laser in the field of consciousness. Your ability to influence reality, to attract resonant experiences, to manifest aligned outcomes, increases exponentially. Not because you have gained some supernatural power, but because you have removed the interference patterns that were scattering your light. The universe responds to coherence. It always has. It responds to the clarity of your signal. And awakening is, in essence, the process of clarifying your signal, of removing the static, of tuning the instrument of your consciousness so that it vibrates in harmony with the larger symphony of existence. Now let me talk about something that often surprises people on this path. Because when the universe begins to respond to your awakening consciousness, it does not only bring pleasant things, it brings truth. And truth is not always comfortable. In fact, truth often arrives as a disruption, as an ending, as a loss. Because truth does not negotiate with illusion. It does not coexist with denial. When truth arrives, everything that is not true must go. And this can feel like loss even when it is liberation. You might lose a relationship that was based on a version of you that no longer exists. And the grief is real. The love was real. But the foundation was not aligned with who you are becoming. And the universe, in its fierce compassion, will not let you build your new life on an old foundation. You might lose a career that gave you status and security but was slowly killing your spirit. And the fear is real. The uncertainty is real. But the universe knows something your mind does not. It knows that what is waiting for you on the other side of that loss is so much more aligned, so much more alive, so much more true than what you are clinging to. And it will keep pulling the rug until you let go. This is the fierce grace of awakening. The universe is not gentle with illusion. It is gentle with you, infinitely gentle, infinitely patient, infinitely loving. But with the illusions you carry, with the false structures you have built, with the lies you have told yourself to stay comfortable, it is absolutely ruthless. because it loves you too much to let you sleep. It loves you too much to let you settle for a life that is smaller than what you came here to live. Tell me in the comments, what is the one thing you know you are being called to release but have not yet found the courage to let go of? Sometimes writing it down is the moment the release begins. And this brings us to something that I think is one of the most profound aspects of what happens when consciousness awakens. The universe does not just respond to you, it responds through you. You become an instrument of the same intelligence that is orchestrating your awakening. You become a conduit for something larger than your personal self. And this shows up in ways that might surprise you. You might find yourself saying things you did not plan to say. Words that come through you with a clarity and precision that does not feel like it originates in your thinking mind. You might find yourself drawn to take actions that make no logical sense but feel deeply right. You might find yourself in exactly the right place at exactly the right time to offer exactly what someone else needed. Not because you planned it, but because you were available. Because your consciousness was clear enough to receive the impulse and your courage was strong enough to act on it. This is what it means to be in service to the field, not in a self-sacrificing, depleting way, but in a way that is deeply fulfilling because it aligns with the truth of what you are. You are not a separate self trying to get things from the universe. You are the universe expressing itself through a unique point of awareness. And when that point of awareness wakes up, the universe gains a new instrument through which to create, to heal, to evolve, to love. Your awakening is not just for you. It is for the entire field. Every time a consciousness wakes up, the whole field becomes more coherent. The whole field becomes more awake. You are not just changing your own life. You are changing the fabric of reality itself. Let that sink in. Your awakening matters. Not in an ego-inflating way, not in a way that makes you special or superior, but in the way that every candle matters in a dark room. Your light matters. Your consciousness matters. Your willingness to stay awake in a world that is constantly pulling you back to sleep matters more than you can possibly know. Now I want to talk about something practical, because understanding all of this conceptually is only the beginning. The universe does not respond to what you understand. It responds to what you embody. And there is a vast difference between knowing something in your mind and knowing it in your body, in your cells, in the field of your being. There is a phenomenon in neuroscience called the knowledge-action gap. It describes the well-documented fact that knowing something does not automatically translate into living it. You can know that presence is more powerful than reactivity and still spend most of your day reacting. You can know that your thoughts create your reality and still be enslaved by unconscious thought patterns. You can know that the universe is responsive and still live as if you are alone and unsupported. Knowledge without embodiment is like a seed that never touches soil. It holds potential, but it never becomes anything real. So the question becomes, how do you embody this? How do you move from understanding that consciousness creates reality to actually living from that understanding? How do you become the kind of consciousness that the universe can respond to in these extraordinary ways? And the answer is simpler than you might think. Though simple does not mean easy, you practice presence, not as a technique, not as something you do for 20 minutes in the morning and then forget about, but as a way of being, as the fundamental orientation of your life. Presence is the doorway through which awakening moves from concept to reality. Because presence is the state in which consciousness is most coherent. It is the state in which you are not lost in thought about the past or the future, but are fully here, fully available, fully awake to what is actually happening in this moment. And here is what is remarkable about presence. It does not require effort. It requires the cessation of effort. You do not have to try to be present. You have to stop trying to be somewhere else. You have to stop the constant mental movement away from here and now. Presence is what remains when you stop running. It is what you find when you stop seeking. It is not something you achieve. It is something you relax into. It is your natural state, the state you were in before the mind learned to pull you away from it. Right now, as you listen to these words, can you feel the awareness that is hearing them? Not the thoughts about the words, not the analysis of the concepts, but the simple, open, alive awareness that is receiving all of it. That awareness is presence. That awareness is what you are before you are anything else. And that awareness is what the universe is responding to. Not your plans, not your affirmations, not your vision boards, your awareness. The quality of your attention, the depth of your presence. When you bring full presence to a moment, you change the quantum field of that moment. You collapse different possibilities than you would from a state of distraction or reactivity. You literally create a different reality. And the more consistently you inhabit presence, the more coherent your field becomes, and the more dramatically the universe reorganizes around you. Let me offer you something you can practice. Not later. Now. In this moment. Take a breath. Not a special breath. Just a conscious breath. Feel the air enter your body. Feel your chest expand. Feel the slight pause at the top. Feel the release. That simple act of bringing awareness to your breath is an act of presence. It is a moment of consciousness awakening. And in that moment, however brief, you are in coherence with the field. You are available to the intelligence that orchestrates synchronicity. You are open to the universe's response. Now here is the practice. Do this throughout your day, not as a task, not as an obligation, but as a remembering. Set no alarm. Create no schedule. Simply notice when you have been lost in thought, lost in reactivity, lost in the trance of the conditioned mind. And in that moment of noticing, take one conscious breath. Return to here. Return to now. Return to the awareness that is always present beneath the noise. Each time you do this, you strengthen the neural pathways of presence. You build what you might think of as a muscle of awareness. And over time, presence becomes less something you do and more something you are. It becomes your default state rather than your occasional state. And as that shift occurs, the universe's response to you changes profoundly. Because you are no longer broadcasting a scattered, incoherent signal. You are broadcasting a clear, coherent, powerful signal, and the field has no choice but to match it. There is another dimension to this that I want to explore, because awakening is not just about individual consciousness. It is about the collective field. And what the universe does when consciousness awakens is not limited to the individual who is waking up. It ripples outward. In physics, there is a principle called quantum entanglement. When two particles become entangled, they remain connected regardless of the distance between them. A change in one instantaneously affects the other. No signal passes between them. No time elapses. The connection is non-local. It transcends space and time. And while the mainstream scientific community is cautious about extending this principle beyond the subatomic realm, the implications for consciousness are profound. Because if consciousness is fundamental, if it is the ground of reality rather than a product of it, then all consciousness may be entangled. All awareness may be connected at a level that transcends the apparent separation of individual minds and bodies. This would mean that when your consciousness shifts, it does not only affect your personal reality, it affects the entire field. Your awakening sends a ripple through the collective consciousness of humanity. Your coherence contributes to the coherence of the whole. Your presence, your willingness to stay awake, your courage to face the shadow and dissolve the false self. All of this is a service to every other consciousness in the field. You are not awakening alone. You are awakening for the whole. And the universe responds to this too. It responds to the collective shift. It responds to the growing number of human consciousnesses that are beginning to wake up at this particular moment in history. And I do not think it is an accident that so many people are experiencing this simultaneously. Something is happening in the field. A threshold is being approached. A critical mass of awakening consciousness that, when reached, may shift the entire trajectory of human evolution. And you, by your willingness to be here, to listen, to feel, to stay present with this, are part of that shift. But let me bring this back to the personal, because the cosmic can become a way of avoiding the intimate. And awakening is ultimately intimate. It is the most intimate thing that can happen to you. It is you meeting yourself without any buffer, without any story, without any defense. It is the universe meeting itself through your eyes and recognizing what it has always been. There is a stage in the awakening process that almost no one talks about. It comes after the initial opening, after the synchronicities, after the dismantling, after the void. It is the stage of integration, and it is, in many ways, the most important stage of all, because it is the stage where awakening stops being something that happened to you and becomes something that lives as you, where the insights you have gained stop being memories and become the very substance of your daily life. Integration is not glamorous. It does not make for exciting stories. It is the quiet work of bringing presence to the mundane, of washing dishes with full awareness, of listening to another person without preparing your response, of feeling an emotion fully without trying to fix it or escape it, of walking down the street and noticing the light on the leaves and feeling the miracle of being alive in a body on a planet spinning through infinite space. Integration is where awakening becomes real, where it stops being a peak experience and becomes a lived reality. And the universe supports integration in a different way than it supports the initial awakening, where the initial awakening is often dramatic, full of signs and synchronicities and upheavals. Integration is subtle. The universe supports it through steadiness, through the quiet reliability of each new day, through the gentle repetition of ordinary moments that, when met with presence, reveal themselves to be extraordinary, through the slow, patient work of rewiring a nervous system that has spent decades in survival mode. The universe gives you time. It gives you space. It gives you the ordinary as a canvas for the sacred. And this is where many people go wrong. They become addicted to the fireworks. They chase the peak experiences. They want another dramatic sign, another mind-blowing synchronicity, another shattering revelation. And when the integration phase comes, with its quietness, its ordinariness, its lack of spectacle, they think something has gone wrong. They think they have lost the awakening. They think the universe has stopped responding. But it has not stopped responding. It has shifted its response to match what you actually need. And what you need, after the storm of initial awakening, is ground, stability, embodiment, the slow, deep work of becoming a human being who can hold expanded consciousness in a physical body in a material world without fragmenting. This is the real work, not the flashy stuff, not the mystical experiences, not the cosmic downloads. The real work is, can you be awake while paying your bills? Can you be present while stuck in traffic? Can you hold compassion for yourself when you fall back into an old pattern? Can you meet your own humanity with the same reverence you feel for the cosmos? Because the cosmos is not somewhere out there. It is right here, in your breath, in your heartbeat, in the sensation of your feet on the floor. The universe is not a distant thing you are trying to connect with. It is the very substance of your experience in this moment. And awakening is not about escaping this moment into some higher realm. It is about discovering that this moment is the higher realm. That ordinary awareness, when fully inhabited, is the enlightenment you have been seeking. Pause with that. The enlightenment you have been seeking is not a destination. It is the quality of attention you bring to where you already are. The universe has been responding to you your entire life. It has been shaping itself around your consciousness every single moment. The only thing that changes when you awaken is that you become aware of the conversation that was always happening. You become a conscious participant in a dance that was already in motion. And in that conscious participation, everything transforms. Not because reality changes, but because your relationship to reality changes. And that, it turns out, changes everything. There is one more thing I want to share with you, and it is perhaps the most important thing of all. The universe does not do any of this to reward you for awakening. It does not reorganize reality as a prize for being spiritual enough. It does it because it is the natural consequence of coherence. It is what happens when a system comes into alignment with its own deepest nature. It is not personal. It is not transactional. It is not a deal you make with the cosmos. It is physics. It is the way consciousness works. When you are coherent, reality reflects that coherence. When you are present, reality becomes more vivid. When you are open, possibilities multiply. When you are in resistance, reality contracts. When you are in fear, reality narrows. This is not punishment. This is feedback. The universe is always giving you perfect feedback about the state of your consciousness. Your life, exactly as it is right now, is the universe's response to the signal you have been broadcasting. And this is not a reason for guilt or self-blame. It is a reason for empowerment. Because if your reality is a reflection of your consciousness, then shifting your consciousness is the most powerful thing you can do. Not efforting, not forcing, not trying harder. Shifting, becoming more present, more aware, more coherent, more aligned with the truth of what you are, and letting the universe do what it does naturally in response. You do not have to figure out how to change your life. You have to figure out how to change your state, and the life will follow. You do not have to know the path. You have to be present enough to feel the next step, and the path will reveal itself. You do not have to understand the universe's plan for you. You have to trust the intelligence that is moving through you and let it guide you where you need to go. This is the great surrender of awakening, not a passive giving up, but an active letting go. Letting go of the mind's need to control, letting go of the ego's need to know, letting go of the fear that has been running the show, and falling, with full awareness and full trust, into the arms of an intelligence that is vaster, wiser, and more loving than anything the mind could ever comprehend. The universe has been waiting for this. It has been waiting for you to stop fighting and start flowing, to stop grasping and start receiving, to stop performing and start being. And the moment you do, even for a breath, even for a heartbeat, the entire field responds. Because you are not separate from it. You never were. The separation was the dream. The connection is the reality. And awakening is simply the moment you remember what was never truly forgotten. Consider listening to this again tomorrow morning before your day begins, letting these words settle deeper into your body each time, rewiring your consciousness not through effort, but through repetition and presence. And if someone came to mind while you were listening, share this with them. That impulse is not random. It is the field working through you, and when you act on it, you create a ripple of coherence that strengthens both your awakening and theirs. So here is what I want to leave you with, not as a conclusion, but as a beginning. Because everything we have explored together is not the end of something. It is the start of something. The start of a new relationship with reality. A new way of being in the world. A new way of listening to the intelligence that is always speaking, always guiding, always responding. The universe is doing something right now, in response to the consciousness that is listening to these words. In response to the awareness that is stirring within you, in response to the willingness you have shown by being here, by staying present, by opening to the possibility that reality is far more responsive, far more alive, far more intelligent than you were taught to believe. Something is shifting. Can you feel it? Not in your mind, in your body, in the space around you, in the quality of this moment. Something is different than it was when you started listening. Something has opened. Something has softened. Something has become available that was not available before. That is not my doing. That is not the words doing. That is your consciousness responding to its own recognition. That is the universe responding to you responding to it. That is the dance. That is the conversation. That is the living, breathing, intelligent relationship between your awareness and the field of infinite possibility. And it does not end when this recording ends. It continues. With every conscious breath, with every moment of presence, with every choice to stay awake when the world invites you to sleep, the universe will keep responding. It will keep sending you mirrors. It will keep dismantling what is false. It will keep synchronizing events in ways that defy rational explanation. It will keep inviting you deeper and deeper and deeper still into the truth of what you are, into the mystery that has no bottom, into the love that has no boundary. Your consciousness is awakening. The universe knows it. The field is already reorganizing. Trust the process. Trust the intelligence. Trust yourself. Not the small self that is afraid, the vast self that has been waiting lifetimes for this moment. Welcome to the awakening, not as an event, but as a way of life. If something in these words resonated in a place deeper than thought, if you felt a recognition that you cannot quite explain, leave a word in the comments. Just one word. Whatever arose, whatever you felt. Let it be a marker, a signal to yourself and to the field that you were here, that you heard, that something shifted. And if you are ready to continue this journey, to go deeper into the territory we have only begun to explore, subscribe to this channel and stay in this frequency. Because this is not entertainment. This is remembering, and the remembering has only just begun.